All right, in the introduction of the mandolin, I did talk a little bit about the tablature, but I want to make a video specifically for mandolin tablature. So hopefully you already went through the video, or you've had some classes and you learned how to hold your pick, how to hold the mandolin, how to note, and all that good stuff. But I want to talk about specifically tablature and how we do it here at the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Pretty simple. First thing you want to do is get the names of your strings memorized. So let's just start with that right off the bat. So on the bottom one is the E string. Then we have A. Then D. Then G. Whatever you have to do, write it down, go through it, memorize the names of those strings, because everything you're going to learn here at the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame, whether it's video lessons or whether it's private lessons or whether it's group lessons, we use this tablature, and you're going to need to know the names of the strings. Let's go back to that E string to keep it really simple, okay? So basically it's very simple. If you know the names of the strings and how to count these frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you got it, okay? And we can keep going, but we're not going to. For a beginner, you're mostly going to be staying down here playing simpler melodies, okay? So on that E, I got E open. E1 would be behind the first fret, E2 behind the second fret, E string third fret, E string fourth fret, E string fifth fret, E5, E string sixth fret, and E string seventh fret. So we got E open, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7. Now I covered this in the other video, but just to remind you, if you're doing that practice, make sure every finger has 2 frets. Obviously open, you're not using a finger. When I go to 1 and 2, I'm using pointer. 3, 4, using middle. 5, 6, using ring. Then that pinky for 7. Works that way on all the strings. I could go with the A string, same thing. A open, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7. And then the D string and the G is the same. But let's go back and talk about the main notes. Primarily when you're a beginner learning for the first time, we try to keep it simple. So there's only a few notes we're going to be using, primarily on the E and the A. So that's the ones we're going to go over. So obviously E string open is a big one. And E2 with your pointer finger. E4 with your middle finger. And E5 with your ring finger. Even if you just practice on those 4 notes going E open, E2, E4, E5, and then maybe go back down. E4, E2, E open. That's a great practice. Say those notes out loud as you're playing. Let's try that again. And at the same time, you're going down and up with your pick stroke. Watch this. E open, E2, E4, E5, E4, E2, E open. So you see the left hand, what fingers I'm using on what frets? Now watch my pick this time as I go down and up. E open, E2, E4, E5, E4, E2, E open. Now every once in a while we'll use an E3 as well. That's common in some songs after you get going for a while. So sometimes it might be E open, E2, E3 with your middle finger, then an E4 with your middle finger, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go to the A and do the same thing. So we have A open, A2 with your pointer, A4 with your middle, A5 with your ring. I'll go back down, A4, A2, A open. Now when I practice that, I'm saying the notes out loud as I'm playing them, try to get that in my head, and I'm going down and up with my pick. Let's try that on the A again. We're going to go A open, A2, A4, A5, A4, A2, A open. That's such a good practice. Here's what that's doing. Again, that's drilling that tablature in your head to where you know what note is what. You're getting used to the frets. You're getting used to your fingers pushing on the correct places. You're getting used to what fingers that you're used to using or supposed to be using. And you're also getting used to your pick going down and up. Let's do that one more time. So on the E, I'll go E open, E2, E4, E5, E4, E2, E open. Now go to the A, same thing. A open, A2, A4, A5, A4, A2, A open. All right, I hope you got that down. We're going to go ahead and do that D and G as well. D open, D2, D4, D5, D4, D2, D open. Go over that as many times as you like. Let's go to the G string now. G open, G2, G4, G5, G4, G2, G open. You got the idea, but you want to get the strings memorized. You want to make sure you're using the correct fingers behind the correct frets. That you're using the tip of your fingers to push down. Hey, and that pick, down, up with that. And then another thing too, a lot of people, especially beginners, they tighten that wrist up really hard. They think, I can't make this thing sound smooth, and they just get so tight. And they're thinking and concentrating so hard. Learn to relax that right hand. If you do, so if I'm playing a song, I'm going, if I'm playing that really harsh and tight, it's not going to be as smooth as if I have a loose wrist. Hear how much smoother that is? So as I'm playing and learning down up, I'm also learning how to relax that arm and play smoother. I hope that's helpful. Have some fun.